Hi, this is Slimedog,
And Topo.
and today we're playing Mars Odyssey on the PSVR. And this is an interesting, fun, kind of more of an edutainment, extremely short VR experience that lets you kind of learn more about the various U.S. Mars missions, landers that we've had, and get a feel for, kind of what they look like up close.
And
So
space exploration. Or
Yeah.
at least planet exploration.
And it's very fun, but again, very short. So just as long as you set your expectations, we're going to try to play through the whole thing today.
And as a quick FYI, because I spent as much time figuring out the controls as it did to play the whole game, go open the window. And so for the...
Okay, yeah, for, you can move, if you hold on the X button, it'll give you a blue line, and if you point at the floor and let go, it'll teleport you there. That's how you move. To actually use stuff, you do the square button. You hold down the square button, it'll give you a green line, and if you move that over anything that's interactable, which in this case is that green blinky button, it will activate it.
Orbit Mars space station. It is the orbital transit hub from Earth to the Martian surface.
Okay.
And the
interfaced with the station computer
R3
AI
is the thing
and have
that
acquainted
is
myself
your
with its
camera.
operation.
Oh yeah, R3 will let you, like, kind of spin around.
And
And that's
have a look around.
pretty... But
Dude,
did you use
If
it?
you
window is
access the
all
door
scratched
panel opposite the
Well,
portal,
it might be, again, it
you will
might be
enter the station's main
oh.
hallway.
Maybe, but it's
They-
also kind of freaky. Like, what's been trying to get in?
Station on Mars surface.
Anyway,
Point at the
it's not that
phone
kind
and
of
press
game.
Oh.
Release to
And point to
teleport.
the trigger.
Opening that door up with
If
that.
you enter first right,
Jump
you
out
will
here.
access
Now this
the
is
hollow
basically
room
the entire
library.
station. It's the room you start in, that hangar room which will go in to do missions, and this hollow room to get a little presentation about Mars, and this room which is always locked and you can't go in there. So
We won't ask.
I feel like it was cut
Please
content
move to
that
the
they
center
had
of
to
the
remove
room.
before they could ship.
Click the
Maybe.
solve hologram to start the hollow experience.
Don't stand right in... It says stand in the center of the room, but if you
You stand in
do,
the
you
center?
end up with your head is in Mars.
Yeah, your head is
and
stuck in Mars at that point.
It's kind of strange.
But you zap it, you kind of use it with your square button to start the kind of thing. And if you've ever seen Mission to Mars, this should look kind of familiar. Clearly, the developers were very influenced by Mission to Mars.
Well, maybe.
But I love
yes,
it's got the whole solar system,
Freeze.
and
Look
it's
at your
just
wrist
zipping
monitor.
around your head. Check out
You may
Earth, there's
interact with the
Earth.
holographic experience
Oh, no,
using your
there's
own
the
They're
interface
moon.
like
device.
rapidly
Loaded in.
rotating
You've got
around Earth.
Moons around Saturn, Venus. Look at that. That looks just too cool.
And
Woo,
again,
Mercury.
in zoom,
Whoa.
we know why Mercury is so
There's
fast.
Earth.
It's like zoom, zoom, zoom.
And basically, once you're done marveling at the solar system, you hit triangle, and it gives you a comparison of Earth and Mars. It's got to load everything in, because nice high-resolution models for the important bits.
And they do a neat job of like here's Earth and here's Mars and
Oh, look, there's Earth. That's about Earth.
oh, that's not Earth, that's Moon. There's the Earth.
There we go.
Right.
And then there's Mars.
and Mars.
Also,
That's about Mars.
that's
The
where
third and fourth planets from Sol.
But you can see kind of how big they are next to each other. And in
One,
VR,
the
it actually does a
birthplace of
really good
humanity.
job of kind of putting things
The
into
other
perspective
for eons
better
and
for you.
mystery
You're like,
in the night
oh,
sky.
that's how big Mars is compared
They are
to the
pictured
moon
here to
and
scale,
compared to Earth.
but obviously
Oh,
much
okay,
nearer to
like,
each other than they are
It's
in
kind of
reality.
cool, actually. It's effective.
There are two
And I
points
think
of interest
this
on Mars I'd
facet
like to
is
show you.
probably kind of
Olympus Mons
the best
and
use of
Valles
VR for
Marineris.
this thing.
yeah, I
Like,
think it's really neat.
this is kind of, I guess, where it shines. So if you're looking for
Continue.
sort of like, why did they make this game? I think they probably made it for moments like this, like stuff where it's actually educational and it puts things in perspective, and it would really be, it's just a really cool way to kind of see, Earth and Mars. And in this case, now we're going to look at some geographical features on Mars. There's a giant mountain and a giant valley. Olympus Mons is first, which is the giant volcano. And see,
And it's-
stats, interesting.
Right. And super cute and fun is I like the
Olympus Mons is
Mount
the
Everest
tallest
comparison
discovered
there.
volcano in
Yeah.
the
but
solar
the
system.
Empire State is my favorite.
It
'cause
is
they're like,
nearly 2.5
this is
times the height of the
This is
Mount
the Empire
Everest.
State. This is
I
the
added a hologram of
next
Mount
to this
Everest for your
volcano,
reference.
which is ginormous.
Well, and the impressive part is like all the detail on the actual volcano. This is all from high resolution images that they've taken of Mars' surface to reproduce this. It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
And again, I think the kind of really neat part about this is in VR, you can actually you're kind of in it. You can
Yeah.
really, your perspective is really kind of
Yeah.
enforced.
It really is.
So, and that comes up in a minute when we go to Mars. We'll talk about the whole.
Valles Marineris is one of the largest
Wee
canyons
little
in
Mount
the solar
Everest.
system.
They would have
It
shown
is
the
nearly
Grand Canyon,
4,000
but she
kilometers
mentions
long
that it is the
and
size of
200 kilometers wide.
postage stamp compared
At this
to.
scale,
It's
the Grand
super
Canyon
tiny.
would be
So
the size of a
the
postage
closest
stamp.
big thing we've got next to that is Mount Everest, I guess.
So all those Martian canals they were talking about, this is it.
So cool.
Oh my gosh, that's
Right?
trippy. Yeah,
I mean,
that's really.
okay, so this part of the experience is really cool.
Yeah, cool if brief and a little bit non-interactive because they're just showing you stuff.
Like, here's some facts about Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And
According
here's
to the
a way
station's
to
AI,
compare
a
it
few
to.
of the historic human landmarks on Mars have fallen into disrepair. The next scheduled repair crew is not expected to arrive for another 20 months. The station has requested your
And now
assistance.
we get sent
Our
to the.
assistance is requested.
Yes, we will totally help them out. They've got. We're going to go check out and
This
we're
is
going
the
to do some light
transpod
maintenance
launch room.
on
The transpod
a
is
lot of the
transport from
not
the
manned.
MSS
Geez,
to the
don't go
surface
that
of
far.
Mars. The station informs me the
If you-
transpod is
no,
fully
it's
fueled
good.
and prepped for
Show
launch.
you're getting into the
Please
chair.
enter
Oh,
the
okay.
pod
Well,
and
yeah.
Not to
please
show
help.
the. Not,
We
yeah,
will
he's not.
activate
You're not.
launch
You,
sequence.
okay.
And
Try
go.
not to move too much.
And then you're in the
enjoy
chair
ride.
and you hit the green button. And then the thing
To
closes.
activate the
Okay, so
transpod,
yes, you
first
get to
close the
visit
pod doors.
Mars and do some
button is to
repairs
your
on the
right.
various missions that have gone to Mars.
That seems a little sign. Where's the sign?
Well, it doesn't show up on this one. I don't think. I think the first one.
Let's just hit the button.
Yeah, maybe it's the load. You know, it is still a pretty recent
We have now arrived at the Viking 2 landing site.
title.
Yeah.
I mean, it just dropped this week, so maybe
Yeah, maybe
they're.
they'll update it with a little bit. But see, look, you've got the whole Martian surroundings, of which they model comparatively little. Like, you know, you can see you can go out that far, but you can't just like roam off into the horizon. It's a relatively contained area that you're allowed to explore. And as far as I've been able to tell, that's interesting. There's a couple of rocks over there with no backs.
They weren't expecting you to come over here. Okay, well, don't look too closely.
Dude, look.
Yes, I see. They didn't texture.
There could be
Okay,
like space
just-
rabbits. There could be
Yes, that
things in
could
there.
be. Though
Okay.
I would think they would do it on this side. I mean, the back side I get, but.
And they
whatever.
want us to make some light repairs on this guy. Now,
We
basically,
got our little welding torch here.
we've got the welding
See,
torch. We can. That's the welder, and you just basically are trying to like weld in the little red points here that are busted.
Damaged.
That's fairly accurate. I mean, it's responsive as far as this, but this is seriously like the game aspect of it. Like, it's not a whole lot beyond this. So if you're looking for wide-ranging
Action.
adventure or Mars survival
Martians
or a radar dish that actually connects to the probe.
It's just a. Okay, fine. There's little bits here and there, but overall. And this, I think, is the kind of fun part. Okay, so now turn to the left. There we go. So, Viking 2 landed in 76. How fun is that? And if you then turn back and you can.
And then when you click on the various components, you can read about them. So generally it's like the sensors or the technical components of the landers. So there's maybe like 4 or 5 parts on each one, and it gives you some basic information about it.
Please enter the transpod.
Yes, we'll
One-way
go back to the
relay.
pod in a second. Hold on. We've got one more button to press. No, not that. No.
Do I have to go this side?
Oh, yeah, but you've got one other one to do.
Okay. See the remote sampler arm.
Go back over.
Yeah.
Don't stand in it. There we
I
go.
put my eye out. Which one are you looking for?
Go back over to the right there. Yeah, like there. Now turn back to it. It's the, I
Are you
can't point to
sure?
it. Yes. Go what?
Okay, so the marshmallow thing. Is it next to the marshmallow thing?
Yes, it's the blue thing next to the marshmallow thing.
Oh, the blue thing next to the marshmallow thing. Okay.
Right, you went so far. There we go.
I see. That guy.
There's the marshmallow thing and then the thing.
There.
There we go.
Seismometer.
There we go.
It's a seismometer.
There we go.
And there you go.
And
Boom.
back to the
in here,
ship.
and that's what you learn about Viking. Oh, here we
Oh,
go. See,
go to
that's what it's supposed to
Pathfinder.
do.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you don't let it talk all the way, it doesn't pop up the window. So, like, maybe it has to finish its exposition.
Chatting.
Yeah.
And now here we are at Pathfinder.
The Pathfinder one's kind of fun.
Yes, it is. Though, please make it not go in a giant circle. Just take it to the left and go around.
You can actually, using the right stick, you actually control the Pathfinder rover.
The other direction.
Wait, it's falling off.
Anyway, look to
You
the
want to go the
right.
other
See,
direction?
there's the... Yes.
Okay.
Because, look, you
We've got a
take
big
it with
dust
the
storm
left.
coming. We've got to get it to the backside of that rock before the dust storm hits us.
You must be quick. The station has given you access to Sojourner's remote drive control. Use the thumb pad to drive Sojourner to the safe zone.
Working on it.
Okay, and it's a little bit tricky to keep the RC car style controls with the right stick, and also keep it visual
To your
with you
location.
with the left stick.
Right.
Although honestly, this is not like Dark Souls. It's not tricky in that sense of the word.
But we're taking it over to keep it protected.
And boom!
Phew, and
Here we
instantly, see, we finally made, and it's gone. Just
Dust
like
storm
that.
on Mars is probably the least realistic thing about this simulation. They don't have a whole lot of those, since they've got a comparatively weak atmosphere.
But, and that brings us to people who might enjoy this, people who are interested in, like, engineering, would be space exploration, the space program, Mars in general.
Yeah.
It's, and to call it edutainment, not exactly, but it has some really fun
Yeah.
kind of...
The light game elements of it are really minor.
So here we go. Now we get to read about it, and look at that. July 4th, 97.
Mm-hmm.
Special note, it was supposed to last a week, and it lasted for 83 days.
Like Hanukkah.
Oh my gosh. And so strange. There's the bouncy bounce.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you call it?
Raspberry?
Raspberry?
Was it like a blueberry, raspberry airbag thing? The thing, it blows
The
up with
bouncy
these big
bounce.
round kind of
I don't know
airbags all around it, and it just sort of bounced all over the surface, which is amazing that they actually thought that would work, and also amazing that it worked.
That it actually did work, and it worked really well because
3
it
cheers
actually
for
functioned.
incredible engineering, because
Right?
I
And I
wouldn't have
think-
thought of that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And here's the little,
There's the imager, the info on the cameras, and
I think that's, there we go, this guy. Right.
imager itself.
It's so tiny, and you know, that's so... But again, this is where the VR kind of comes into full, like...
There's an antenna.
There
That's
you
an
go.
atmospheric study.
I mean, in the VR, you can look down at this Sojourner and be like, wow, look at this. It is like, look at it.
Yeah.
At my feet. It
Well,
is
it gives
this
you a
size.
great sense of scale. Like,
Right.
it tells you, like, how big it is.
Oh, go
So,
to
like,
opportunity?
opportunities next. There's, 4 probes, I think, and a little exposition at the end. So, this is, again, not a long game. And you'll get the pseudo-platinum, all of the trophies you can get from it, just by doing that. You don't have to go out of your way to do anything.
And this is the sort of strange, like, I don't know exactly, but,
Interdimensional duster.
oops, where'd you go?
Activate
Ooh,
the air
I'm way
tank.
up there.
By pulling the trigger on the tank, you will release
Okay,
a
now
burst
turn to
of
your right. Oh,
compressed air.
there you go.
Right, okay. Right.
Um,
We're cleaning off the
Mars
dust from
Mars
the solar
dust.
panels. Look at that.
Look at that. Shiny and new.
I am great at this.
Yeah.
This is why I need to be a duster on Mars. A Martian duster.
Like Rosie.
Like Rosie from Jetsons.
Yep. So, while you get a...
See, it's pretty much good. Although I take it away before you can completely clean it off.
Sometimes, depends
See,
on
look
how
at
you
that.
do it. That's not quite done. But they say it's clean. Okay, fine. Whatever.
I don't clean that bit.
I'd like to finish cleaning.
I don't do a half-ass job on Mars. I don't know why.
And this didn't fill in all the way. It was supposed to
Yeah.
be more info on it. I don't know why
Yeah.
that's not loading right either. So
Yeah, for a
here's
game with
the...
like 8 features.
Yeah,
they
they could manage the name and information about it. But I think it was another one. Oh, there.
Above expected efficiency.
Panoramic
Pen
camera.
cans.
For a computer, this is an impressive amount.
And antennas. But see, it gives you an idea for how large it was. Like, you know, it's like, wow, okay, that's a pretty good size. It's sort of like you're standing right next to it looking at it since you're in VR.
You're going to have to scooch because there we are.
There we go.
Please enter the transpod.
Okay, we'll get to it. Jiminy.
Dude, I've been here for 86 seconds and she's already like, and we're moving.
And done. Okay. Now, it should pop up here. Where are we going next? No, it's just gonna. So it still feels a little glitchy.
But if you hit the action button, you go forward. So
yeah,
even if the sign doesn't
you'll
pop.
still go. And the action button is X.
Oh, this one's like, okay, this is the one where literally our job is to beat on it with a hammer.
Which is awesome.
And but look at the size of this rover though. Like, I mean, I've seen like video of it and stuff, but that's a really sizable rover right there. Like, wow,
And
they
again,
put that on Mars. And we're beating with the hammer.
And again, the
Hammer. Like they tell you to.
I know they tell you to, which I think is definitely wonderful. But the
I will project the HUD of the location, and it should all work.
Completely scientific. They do this at NASA all the time.
But this is definitely, if you're looking for something VR, and
You may now log on with Curiosity and learn about its myriad of functions.
Curiosity. And again,
Dude, dig this.
6-8.
This is why they last 5 years. Look at all of those bolts on that thing.
They were taking no chances.
Oh
not
my
the
God.
not the controller, because the controller's not actually attached. Okay, so 687 days function for 2,934. That is
Because
awesome.
bolts.
Okay, so they were, you know, engineering people. This is where it's at.
Seriously.
This is why it's awesome. Okay, and let's look at all the various things. Okay,
3 antennas.
which is actually, this is really neat. It talks all about all the different types of communications they do.
Chem to remote sensing of chemical. Laser
And again,
induced
we
breakdown
could-
spectrometer.
We could stop and let you read all this, or you can just pause the video if you are actually interested in checking out the...
Yes.
Okay, let's look at that. No, wait, why'd you no.
Because that was the same thing. I just looked at that. That's your... Oh no,
Oh,
that's the
that's
3 antennas for communication. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. So 1, 2...
This
what's
guy.
this one is...
Radiation assessment detector. Because it's rad.
Huh?
Which, oddly, is probably what it detects, I guess. So it's a Geiger counter, I suppose. There we go.
All right.
And... where do we go next, huh? Because that was the last lander we landed. So...
Well, is there a thing in that? I feel like it's...
right.
The menus aren't quite popping up like... Again, this has been out less than a week. But I do like they've got frost on your visor, which is kind of neat.
It does look cool. Like, you know, like, this is a survival horror game. This is not a survival horror game. But yeah, that'd be pretty freaky.
Sure.
From the beginning of time, your species stirred up the heavens and wondered.
Oh, right.
The human need to explore and discover
Kick
has not
back.
changed throughout the
Red
millennium.
sunrise.
Witness one of your greatest achievements.
Listen to the computer pontificate.
You've seen the first human machines to touch the surface of this alien world. These machines were the beginning of a long
You
line
can see it's sort of
voyages
a
across the
conceptualization of
ocean
what a
to the red
Martian
planet,
colony would look like.
and have
Yeah,
culminated
we
in
went to a
millions.
colony, which you would have seen if the menu had popped up
Our time
properly.
here,
It did
traveler,
not
is
seem
done.
to.
We don't actually
We
have a
may
colony
have
on Mars
many
at this
more
point,
voyages of
but
discovery ahead.
how slick would that be?
I will be
Depends
with
how
you every
long
step
it
of the
is
way.
before somebody
If I
maybe
may
watches
paraphrase
this.
That could be,
Alfred
yeah.
Lord Tennyson,
Maybe like,
Come, my
look at that
friend.
tiny colony.
"'Tis not too late to seek a
How
newer
awesome would
world.
that be,
Thing's
right?
dinky.
Push off, and sitting well
But
in order
it is
smite
very
the sounding throne.
much like a Mars colony would be. I mean, it's rendered as one would expect it to
Yeah,
be.
you can actually see like inflatable modules and solar panel arrays for
And the tunnels
energy and
between, and
I've
yeah,
received
I
an
mean,
emergency
big old
distress
dishes
signal.
for communication.
It's
So
coming
yeah.
from an unusual location. I'll take you there momentarily, but I'll need to disengage our interface for a moment.
See,
Wait,
this is
seriously?
the hook for what I imagine to be the sequel. They're like, guess what? We've got real emergencies and stuff to do
One.
in a different game. So,
yeah, I'm not sure what's with. It's an interesting, but here you go.
Mhm.
It takes you and ta-da.
And
It's
credits.
Credits.
Credits
and
rolling. in the most boring font they could find, just
Hey,
because
stop.
it was free.
Stop now.
Seriously.
Stop. Stop being rude.
Okay.
Now, look, you can look through and you can see space like all
Space
around
or
you,
stars,
which is pretty cool. And the
Right
credits.
there. I like how
if
the
you-
credits like scroll all the way up. We're still in the blue thing from the Mission to Mars type thing, but yeah, the credits go all the way up. You can watch them a la Star Wars. It's kind of cool.
The longer they go, you can see the.
Mm-hmm. But that is the entirety of the game. So
Best
as
as
you
we
can
know
see, you should know that going into it. That if $20 is a lot for you to pay for a game, keep in mind that you're doing it for the Mars
And make sure you've got.
aspirational and factual aspects of it, and not the gameplay.
And make sure you have the VR headset because I mean,
Oh,
without
yeah.
it, it's a fine game. It's interesting and whatnot. But the real winner here is taking advantage of that VR.
Yeah.
And just so you are standing next to that rover and you're like, wow, like this thing is
Yeah.
like the human race did this. That is amazing that we were able to that some people figured that out.
Yeah.
Got it over there.
Yeah, the highest quality aspects of this game, what potential this game has is strictly in VR. So, like, if you don't have VR, then you should probably skip it. Oh, they stopped rolling the credits up. Oh, that's why.
And there you go.
And
So,
and then it takes you back to the station to lather, rinse, repeat. It would have been nice, I guess, if there was more, like, extras or details, or even, like, facts, honestly. Like, more info to be had.
yeah.
But, knowing that, it does a fine job for what it does. So, yeah.
And yeah, you can go back to the bridge there.
And that is where you started.
And you can still look out and see Mars, and it's still there, and ta-da.
It's really big. I
So-
feel like we're crashing on Mars.
It is really. Well, we're actually orbiting as opposed to when you're orbiting from a bajillion miles away, a la Space 1999. But,
I bet this is probably about. I wonder if it's like this is the view from what a low Earth or a low Martian orbit would look like.
that would be
Wouldn't
excellent.
surprise me, It seems like it does have a fair bit of detail. That's neat. I like that.
So, it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting, awesome in VR,
Yep.
and just a nice
And
little.
extremely brief.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about, some of the larger games we play that we put in hundreds of dollars to. So there's that.
Yeah. Not a 40-hour RPG here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, well, thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Bye.